Hi everyone, this is John Girardi with Right to Life of Central California, and this is another in our 40 videos for 40 Days for Life series. 40 Days for Life is the international campaign of prayer and presence outside abortion clinics throughout the country and throughout the world. If you want to learn more about our campaign here in Fresno, get in touch with us at 559-229-2229, or you can call us. You can call us at 559-229-2229, and you can visit the website rtlcc.org. All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about Roe v. Wade and what it did. We're doing our little history of major abortion cases series here for our 40 videos for 40 days, and I want to talk about Roe v. Wade. Now, Roe v. Wade was an actual lawsuit. As all Supreme Court decisions are, all Supreme Court decisions emanate from an actual lawsuit. Basically, a group of pro-abortion activists were trying to make a novel legal argument. This legal argument that abortion is actually protected by the Constitution. They were utilizing a Supreme Court decision from the 1960s called Griswold versus Connecticut. Griswold versus Connecticut had recognized a constitutional right to privacy. Now, the Constitution undoubtedly protects certain things that are private. You can look at certain aspects of the First Amendment protecting speech or assembly, and you could say, well, that's protecting some private things. You can look at the Fourth Amendment that protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. You know, cops need a warrant before they can investigate your home. That's protecting some private things. Other aspects of privacy you can see being protected by, the Third Amendment, for example, says, soldiers can't be quartered in your house. But there isn't in the Constitution a writ large, amorphous right to privacy. And Griswold versus Connecticut was dealing with a state law that was putting limitations on contraceptives. And basically the rationale of the Supreme Court was that, well, this is entering too deeply into people's intimate personal decisions. So there's a right to privacy in the Constitution, and that's why this Connecticut law is unconstitutional. Now, that's kind of a bit of hand-wavy legal reasoning in my view. Again, while the Constitution protects some private things, it doesn't protect a big, flexible, amorphous concept of privacy. Many states have prohibited things that we would think of maybe as private. There are all kinds of states that prohibit things like adultery, and that had prohibited adultery for years and years and years and years with no sense that this violated the Constitution. Well, the lawyers for the pro-choice side found an individual woman named Norma McCorvey who wanted an abortion. She was a woman living in Texas. Texas state law at the time prohibited abortion except to save the mother's life. Her lawyers got her to sign some affidavits, and they basically brought this legal argument all the way to the Supreme Court that said, basically, abortion is a kind of medical decision that is private, and that abortion should be protected as an aspect of constitutionally protected privacy. Basically, the idea is that the 14th Amendment, which says that no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, that protects privacy somehow. That basically, without privacy in American law, we cannot have genuine due process. So due process protects an amorphous right to privacy. The amorphous right to privacy extends to the right to make certain kinds of medical decisions, which extends to the right to have an abortion. But the Supreme Court didn't stop there. They then said, well, we're going to have abortion be regulated according to the trimester system. Basically, the first trimester, states can't limit abortion at all. In the second trimester, they can have some health and safety regulations for mom. And the third trimester, they can ban abortion, but as long as there's a health exception where if the mother's health is threatened in any way, she can have an abortion in the third trimester. Now, you may be asking, how do they pull any of that out of the 14th Amendment? Out of the phrase, the due process clause of the 14th Amendment, which again says no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. How do you pull out all of that out of due process? Well, the Supreme Court was engaged in terrible legal reasoning, and even extremely liberal legal commentators like John Hart Ely and Ruth Bader Ginsburg agreed that the legal rationale of the court in Roe was really bad and really sloppy. And basically overnight, you had the Supreme Court taking the entire United States. Most states banned abortion. Took the entire United States overnight from having some of the most restrictive abortion laws in the world to some of the most permissive. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about Roe's sister case, Doe versus Bolton, and the so-called health exception for third trimester abortions, how it's really not an exception at all. See you tomorrow on 40 Videos for 40 Days for Life.